Smritipuranam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badara Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavando Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmede Murti Bheda Vibhagine Yoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tabo Vikshina Papana Shantanam Vitaragina Mumukshunamapekshyoyam Atmabodho Vidhi. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namo Narayana to all. We are discussing Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti is a very special concept of Vedanta. As we know, while in this life, one's get enlightenment and he continue with the body, and he may also continue with all the activities which he was previously performed. So the difference is his perception changes. The whole concept of enlightenment in this Vedanta is change of mind, change of perception, and change of experience. As in the last session, we have seen that if the seeker knows that he is the only, his self is the only existence, all other what are seen in as phenomenal world and whatever what we are seeing is only conceptual. It means illusory. The reality is something else, and we accept as something else. The famous instance for this is clay and pot. We see clay, hold clay, touch clay, taste clay, smell clay, and we say it's jar, it's pot. So there is no separate existence for jar there, the shape, the pot. Other than clay, nothing exists there. So this is the difference. When you see a jar made of clay, you can see it as clay, its reality, and also you could see as a jar. But if you see it only as jar, you have a problem that you have to ask people, or you have to ask the person uh, the person who is no, holding that jar or belongs to whom, you have to ask that person. So from where you got this jar? What is the cost of the jar? Eh? And when it was made? All these details one has to ask and know. So when you see as jar, definitely it has birth, it has changes, and it will destroy after some time. So this is the difference here. If you see only clay in that, it's made of earth, then you will not bother to ask the person when this clay was made and what is going to happen to this clay, because there is no point of asking. So if it is made of earth, you know that earth is not going to die. It will stay for maybe for thousands of years. So you don't bother about asking those questions and knowing that. Now see the difference here. So even when you change the perception, your all idea of thought process changes. Now you are not the same person. You are not asking about the jar. You are not worried about what is going to happen to the jar. Why? Because you are, you know that this jar is made of mud, clay. It's not going to die. It can change its forms, but it will stay on. So this is how, this is the difference. This is the very, very simple way of understanding the difference between Jivan Mukta and the ignorant person, a normal person. So the problem comes here is, you may ask, then can we say, bring some clay instead of pot? You want to, you are asking for pot, but instead of saying pot or jar, you are pronouncing the word as clay. Then what would happen? People will say, oh, he or she doesn't understand what it is. She does not know what the name of this vessel. No, you will be an ignorant person. Or normal people, they will not accept your conversation. They will not understand your conversation. But what you are saying is right. That is the reality. But in normal life, people do not accept this as reality. For them, the reality is jar, not the clay. For them, the reality is what they see. The ornaments are the reality. The colors are the reality. The shape is reality, but not the cause of that. So now how to bring this whole idea of reality into our mind. Our Shastras, our beloved Acharyas, they are trying hard to bring this idea into our minds, because our minds are not ready to accept that anyway. We are only working with this no, what we call as Vyavahar, this empirical practices. Though we know all this from our studies, science and all other studies, but we don't practice those. Similarly, here in this context, if one accepts, believe, and experience that he is Satchidananda, is the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute Brahman. So that is his enlightenment. That is his reality. That is how he become Jivan Mukta. So in our next shloka, the same idea is explained with different words or different aspects. How the Brahman is all pervading. Because in Upanishads, it is said, Brahma Purastat, Brahma Paschat, Brahma Uttarataha, Brahma Dakshinataha, Brahma Urdhvam, Brahma Adhastat, Brahme Vedagam Sarvam. Brahman is before, Brahman is behind, Brahman is left, Brahman is right, Brahman is above and below. Brahman alone is there. Brahman is everywhere. All around Brahman. This is what it says. Now, how to accept this? How to conceive this idea as Brahman before, Brahman behind, Brahman left, right, up, down? It's not easy. The words are very simple, idea is very simple, but acceptance doesn't come. So therefore, the next couple of shlokas, continuing with this idea, Tiryagorthamathak Purnam Satchidanandamadvayam Anandam Nityamekam Yat Tat Brahmetyavadharayet. Tiryagordham adhak purnam Satchidanandamadvayam Anandam Nityamekam Yat Tad Brahmeti Avadharaye. Realize that Brahman as Tiryag Urdham Adha Purnam. Tiryak. Tiryak means horizontal. All around. Tiryak. And Urdham. Above. Above our head. Over the head. Is also Brahman. Adha. Below the feet. Is also Brahman. Purnam. Purna means it's omnipresent. It fills all the quarters, all pervading. It is always complete. There is no incompleteness because existence is complete. You cannot divide existence. Existence is without attribution, is always complete. So also the consciousness. Consciousness without attribution is complete. When I say attribution, I think you understand already. Like if I say my consciousness, I am limiting the consciousness with this individuality. So this individuality, which is delimiting the consciousness, is called attribution. So if I say my mind, my consciousness, my understanding, it is only in me. I don't see that everywhere, all pervading. Therefore, I am limiting the consciousness, limiting the existence, limiting my experience with my body, mind, intellect. So these are, as we know, these are all superimposed, attributed, conditioned with this Satchidananda. So when this condition is no more, then what we can say, if we remove all the conditions, all the delimiting factors, then what would remain is Purnam. We fill ourselves with the vast space. The space is everywhere. Space is always filled. always full, always complete. So it's always full. And you cannot divide space. Therefore, it is always full. So we have a famous mantra in each class. The end of the class we chant Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. So this mantra, this is from Shukla Yajurveda. We have Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The 5th chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad starts with this mantra. The 5th chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, first mantra is Purnamada Purnamitam. So what it says? That is full. Now, as here we are remembering that mantra with this word Purnam. So that is full. Now, what else we can say? Purnam, what does it mean? We can say complete. We can say full. We can say infinite. We can say always filled. So now all those meanings are there for Purnam. Now, just think about that. But when we say something is full, like a glass of water, the glass is full with water. Full with water means, what does it mean? Full with water means you cannot add even a drop of water into that glass. You cannot even add into that. If you add one drop, it will overflow. So that is called full. And you can't take a drop out of that. If you take out of that one drop, even one drop, that glass is not full. So what is called fullness means you cannot add anything into that, and you cannot remove anything from that. Even a particle you cannot remove. So that's called full. Okay, this is the meaning of fullness. Then it means it is indivisible. You cannot divide. So that is called Purnam. And then it says Purnamataha, that Brahman, the creator, the ultimate cause of this creation, is full. So this is also full. So Purnamataha, Purnamitam. And that is full, and this is full. Why it is so? Because the fullness cannot leave its character. If Father is full and then Son is also full, that is what it means. If Father is a human being, Son must be a human being. Son cannot be a monkey. Okay. Why? Because the effect will carry the character of the cause. Similarly, if Brahman is full, if Brahman is creating something, or Brahman is created or being created, then it can be created full only. So the fullness cannot be divided. Why? If you divide fullness, then that Brahman is no more full. So it cannot be called full. Okay. You got something from these words? My words? I don't think. So this mantra is so tricky, you know. It's very simple, but if you explain this Purnamada Purnamidam mantra, I see one of the greatest mantras in our Vedas, this Purnamada Purnamidam. If you explain this, if you talk on this mantra for days, maybe for months, you can talk on this one. So much meaning is there. Very interesting how they visualized this, how they experienced this. Because without experience, nobody can say this. Because what it says is completely scientific. So what is full, it can only create full because there is no division possible in fullness. Therefore, whatever is created is complete, full. So you are also full, and your father is also full, and your great grandfather is also full. So you all are full with that. The humanity, what we say, you are a human being. So your father was a complete human being. Your grandfather was a complete human being, like that. Okay, so you cannot say that your father lost some humanity and then you were made. So father divided his humanity and gave birth to you, and you got the humanity from father. No, father was complete. After you are born also, father was complete. He was a complete human being, and you are also complete human being. So there is no chance of division. You see how simple it is, but it's conveying a very, very deep understanding. It's amazing how they experience it. Similarly, one other sukta in Veda, na sadasi, na sadasi, it's a very famous sukta. So also it's all connected with science. Today's quantum physics and all those are discussing about this point. So that is full and this is full. Purnamataha Purnamitam. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Now it says this full proceeds or produced from that full. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Now I am explaining Purnamada mantra, but our sloka is different. I took that Purna word and explaining that mantra because we were chanting that mantra for many days. So if you like to know that, it's good. Okay. So what the second verse says? Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Okay. So Purnat, this full, one what we call as the body or whatever, individual, person, or the world outside. We can take both. This means this world as well as this. This is me. So this is full and it proceeds, or we can say produced from that full. So this full was produced from that full. Now another interesting thing, when we say this full was produced or is produced, because in this story of this fullness, there is no time barriers. Because when it is full, now how can you change the time? So there is no time. But even then, for the sake of speaking, for the sake of communication, we use past tense, present tense, future tense, all those. But actually, in this context, for this mantra, there is no time. As the quantum physics and all other says, there is no time in this infinite. So the infinite cannot be, what do you say, limited with time or conditioned with time. Okay, that you know already. So this is what it says. This full proceeds from that full, and then Purnat Purnamudashyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Now, what is the problem? If this full is coming from that full, what is missing here? You see, you cannot miss anything. As I said, no, you cannot lose your humanity in any condition. While living, you are human. After death also, you are human. And before death also, before birth also, you are human. Because you were produced from a human being. So before, after, and during this life, you are always human. So if somebody is dead, nobody says an unhuman being died. I don't know how to say that. Nobody say that. So who is dead is also human. So now where is the division? What is the division? So what is the problem? If in both sides it is full, why this individual is feeling incompleteness? Why this individual is always searching for completeness, complete satisfaction? Why this individual is always worried about death? According to Vedanta, there is no point of this individual discussing all these matters. It's all meaningless, useless. Why? Because the producer of this individual is full, complete. So this individual is also complete. Now the problem is, unfortunately, this individual doesn't understand this. This individual doesn't accept that I am full, I am complete. I am the son of that great God who has all the abilities, who is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. I am the son of that God. So this is the problem. This unacceptance makes all the worries, all the troubles. So somehow one has to grasp this, that if I am the son of that God, if that God is complete, then why not me? How am I incomplete? Only the problem is the son is not accepting that he is really the son of that God, which is complete. This is what is happening. This is what we call the great unfortunate blunder what we are experiencing. Even we are not accepting this is the blunder happen. Okay, so then the next verse says, Purnasya Purnamadaya, on grasping the fullness of this, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevavashishyate, that full remains. On grasping this fullness of that Brahman or this Brahman, there remains fullness alone. Purnamevavashishyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya, grasping the fullness of that fullness, there remains that fullness only, or there remains full. Purnameva avasishya. So what does it mean? It means there is fullness alone remains, nothing else. There is no chance of incompleteness. There is no chance of parts. There is no chance of dvaitam. There is no chance of duality. There is no second. Now, we can't say there are thousands and thousands of fullness. Can we say that? We can't say that. There cannot be more than one full, more than one fullness. The fullness can be only one. Then only it is full. If the second comes, then the first is divided by second, and second is divided by first. So the first is limited by second, and second is limited by first. So the first is separate from second, the second is separate from first. Okay. So A is separated from B. What does it mean? A is limited by B and B is limited by A. Therefore, A is divided by B and B is divided by A. Then the A is different from B and B is different from A. Okay. So then if you want to make it both the same, if both remains complete, then it means A is not divided by B and B is not divided by A. And A is equal to B and B is equal to A. It means A and B is the same. A has all the qualities, all the fullness of B, and B has all the qualities and all the fullness of A. It means A is equal to B and both are the same. Okay, so I think this is like the classroom in the in the schools like that. I don't say that, but the thing is, if something is absolutely full, it cannot be divided by a second. Therefore, Purnamevava Shishyate. Now believe in this reality, that's called Purnam. So Purnam is one of the basic character of Brahman existence. So existence is always complete. So it says Satchidanandam Advayam. Satchidanandam. This we already know. Sat means existence, isness, consciousness means chitta, awareness. Ananda means happiness, absolute happiness. Advayam. So as I said, if Purnam cannot be divided, so it's always non-dual. Without a second. Advayam means with a second. Advayam means without a second. So it has no comparison. Uncomparable. Unparalleled. That's called Advayam. Anandam. Infinite. Nityam. Eternal. Because the completeness, if it is something is complete, something is full, it cannot be removed or it cannot be destroyed because it is complete. So it is eternal. Nityam, ekam. Again it says one. It's singular. As it said, without a second, so it is singular. Always singular. Yat tad Brahma. So that which Brahma has all these characters. You are that Brahma. You are that reality. So, iti avadharaye. Know that Brahman with all these characters. So that Brahman iti avadharaye. So that Brahman is complete. So accept the reality of that Brahman and accept that you are not different from that. Now, till this sloka, Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya ji has explained Brahman with characters, with special characters, the nature of Brahman. And now it ends with those qualities. So whatever it has been said is positive qualities. But the next sloka, 57th sloka, in this sloka, Acharya is going to discuss the another method of Vedanta, basically known as negative method of Vedanta. The negative method means you don't be confused with the positive and negative, positivity and negativity. This is the method of negation. Now, what is non-Brahma? What is not Brahma? That is negated. So when you experience the reality of Brahma, you will also experience the the swarupam of the nature of Brahma. But you cannot experience the absence of Brahma. There is no experience as absence. Absence is not experienced ever. So this is a wonderful experience, that we don't experience absence, negation. So the next sloka says, whatever you attributed on Brahma, please remove all those attributions. Please remove all those covers. Then see what remains. So this koshas, these sheets, if you remove all those, then the reality remains there. You don't have to bring down reality. It remains there when you remove all the attributions, all what you superimposed on Brahman. So this method is called method of negation, the Vedantic method of negation. Atadvyavritti rupena vedantair lakshade dvayam akhandanandamegam yat tad brahmetyavadharayet. It's very famous in Vedanta. This is the easiest way to understand Brahman as the reality. Or we can say this is the last method, last process of understanding, last process of cognition of Brahman. So process of negation. Okay, you remove all those which is not Brahman, which has not the characteristics of Brahman. So atad vyavritti rupena, by the process of negation, what it is not, atad vyavritti. So we can say this is this, this is this, it is this. But here, those qualities, those superimpositions are removed because it is not the reality. So what is not is removed. When what is not is removed, what is the reality remains. This is a very simple method. So if you know what is not Brahman, how you know that? We know Brahman with its characteristics from Shastras, Sachidananda, Purnam, Advayam, Nityam, Egam, and all those adjectives what we learned now. So which does all this Swarupa, which have all this Swarupa, and what is not, what is the character. Now Brahman has the characteristics are Satchidananda and all those. And the non-Brahman will not have all this. That is the difference. So atad vyavritti rupena. Atad vyavritti means negating what is not. Vyavritti means negation, separating what is not. So atad vyavritti rupena Vedantai lakshyade advayam. So Vedanta is indicating that non-dual Brahman by negating all those attributions what are not Brahman. Okay? So, adad vyavritti rupena vedantaihi lakshyate advayam. Lakshyate means it's only indicating. It's not directly mentioning that. It says this is not Brahman. This cannot be Brahman. This cannot be Brahman. So you remove all those and try to understand what is remaining. That's the reality. Akhanda anandamekam. Akhanda anandam. Khanda means parts. Part with parts. Akhanda means partless. Partless, without parts. Without limbs. So akhanda anandam. So in which has part, one can remove those parts one by one, and then it's divided. So any object in this world, what we see, that has parts. If that has parts, means you can separate them, you can divide that, you can make that many parts. But it's not possible in this Brahman. So the bliss of Brahman, the Ananda of Brahman is partless. Akhanda Ananda. There is no part. So it means there is no starting, there is no end, there is no middle. So you are always in that. So you cannot say, my happiness started after this, or before that there was no happiness. You cannot say, my happiness ended, now I am unhappy. It means this happiness, what is starting, what has a start, and what has an end, is not the bliss of Brahman. The bliss of Brahman has no start, no end, no parts. So understand this. That is why it's called Akhanda Anandam. So we have this experience of particle Anandas, with many parts. But the Brahmananda has no particles. So Akhanda Anandam Ekam. It's always single. It's singular. Yattad Brahma ityavadharaya. So realize that Brahman, all the realized soul, Jivan Muktas, they experience this Brahman in this way. So you could also do that. So you follow this method of negation. So this is called Neti Neti. It's a famous word in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad again. Not this, not this. Neti neti. Nehananasti kinchana. There is no diversity whatsoever. Neha nanasti kinchana. Here there is no diversity. You are seeing the diversion. You are seeing something divided. Then that's your problem. Your problem of perception. So try to understand undivided experience, undivided bliss. So akhandanandamekam yat tad brahmetyavadharaya. So in this shloka, Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya ji is bringing that negation method of Vedanta, which can be understood logically, which can be used as a technique of meditation, and ultimately we can experience that when no other attribution, no other experience is there, I myself remains. So my own existence gives existence to all other. So my experience is the real experience. I give a reality to my experience. So my being real, I being real, all others seems to be real. So the underlying reality is me. The underlying existence is me. The substratum of all thought process is me alone. So this is how we could meditate on this. So follow this and try to experience what Acharya is trying to teach us on this matter. Okay, so I conclude my words with this here. You are welcome for questions. Hari Om. Over to you for the questions.
Kavalaji, please unmute that mic first. Yeah.
Pranamam Swamiji.
Pranam Swamiji. Before starting the question, I request you to give little explanation of your trip to Sharada Peetham.
Yeah. So I think if someone was asking something, if somebody is asking any question related to this subject, first we complete that.
Okay.
And then the time remains, then say, because if the question comes, then the subject may change.
Okay.
So let listeners ask question if they have any question related to the subject discussed. Okay.
Okay.
So please
Yeah.
ask if anybody wants.
Ragesh, please unmute and please ask.
Yeah, Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam.
Yeah, I want to ask that you said that we limit space by constructing a flat or a house, right? But I think God has himself limited the space within us by building our body as he resides in our Hridayakash, right? So he has limited in our body. We didn't ask God to limit us. What was the purpose to create us so as such?
Yeah, now there are two aspects of this question. Whether I say the answer can be two aspects. From the point of view of God, why God created. And the second aspect is from the point of view of our own point of view, as you asked. So your question is in between, because the part of question is from your point of view, as I say, individual point of view. And the other part of the question is from God's point of view. Now, who is experiencing this limited body? Is God is experiencing this limited body, or we are experiencing this limited body? This is very important to understand this answer or to understand this. If you say this limitation, thus the body and individuality and all this from our point of view, then that is real. Because from our point of view, this body is limited, and body has birth, body has death, and all the changes. And therefore, from our point of view, this body is made of karmas, by our own karmas. We can say that to fulfill our own desires, complete our own desires, experience our own desires, as we do in our day-to-day life. Every day we have desires. We work for those desires to complete. One day, in one occasion, we experience or we completely we fulfill our desires. And if those desires remain, we have to work on that. So we may take another birth to fulfill those desires. Therefore, to say, this body is limited, body is working on our own karma and our own limitations. Okay? Now, from God's point of view, this body is made of matters or 5 elements, or we can say that we can directly say it's made of Prithvi Tattva, geo elements. So this geo elemental body, for God's view, it is not limited, because it's like the bubbles on water. The bubbles are formed in water with some air. It stays for some time and it goes back to the same water. So it's always what? So this body is made of elements. This elemental body, from God's view, is the same element of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So how can we say it is limited? It's all like bubbles. So therefore, that reality always remains the same. So from our points of view, that karma and karma as fructification comes, then the body is there. And God's point of view, bodies are formed in that same reality or the mass of that the matter. In that it is created. So it is unlimited. It's only forming like the waves on the surface of ocean. So therefore, we won't say this limited body is created by God. The limited body is okay. Of course, the body is created by the same matter. But the limitation is created by individuality. So when this individuality is destroyed, or you understand the reality, then there is no limitedness. So when you understand this jar is made of clay, as today's lecture I started with that example. The jar is made of clay, then there is no limit for jar. It cannot be limited because clay is everywhere as in the form of earth. So that limitation what we see is illusion, is superimposed. Actually, there is no limitation for that matter. So whatever we experience in this world is all play of our minds, our karmas. That's all. We have no control over our own elements, our own karmas. So we feel pity, we feel helpless in this world. Okay?
Dhanyawad, Swamiji.
Thank you.
If anybody wish to ask question, please raise hand and ask. Swamiji, I think we don't have more questions.
Okay. So then I just summarize my Sharada Peetham trip. Okay. I think you are all interested to know. But the subject what we are discussing has a different mood and different relation with the mind. And when we talk something like this, it takes another realm. It's like it's a different storytelling. So when we talk about the existence of Brahman, it's something directly connecting with our own existence, our own experiences, feelings. And when we talk about the outside experiences, what we call as like yatra experiences and all other experiences, it's a little different. Okay, anyway, so first of all, I say I feel very fortunate and very glad to attend the program which happened there in Sharda Peetham. As you all know, Sarvajna Peetha, Sarvajna Sharada Peetham is at presently it is in Pak occupied Kashmir, POK what we call. So we now what we see, where we did all this program is just in LOC, the border of Pakistan and Bharat. The name of the village is Tithwal. The Tithwal, what they pronounce as Tithwal, the Sanskrit name would be Tirtha Bela. Tirtha Bela. That is what we changed the name. The Tithwal is very famous there because it's a border village. In that village, maybe like 35, 40 houses, and we can call it like 40 families living a small village. It is nearly 200 kilometers away, 200 kilometers north of Srinagar. It's just Pakistan, like what we say, the Pakistan border. There flows Krishna Ganga, a river flows there. This side of river is Bharat and the opposite side is Pakistan. So we can see the village, the Pakistan village there, just opposite. And there also they have all border security force and all the things. And we have all our military security forces here. And it's all villages looked after by military forces only. So we traveled from Jammu to Srinagar and stayed in one of our devotees' house in Srinagar. And from there, early morning, 21st of June, we started towards this Tithwal village. So Tithwal village, on the way, we cross a pass called Sadhana Pass. It's a hilltop where our military has all this security, what you say, the border securities force, and they are all there. So we passed that Sadhana peak and then down like again maybe 50 or 40 kilometers away, we reached this village. So this village, all these 40 houses, they are all follow Muslims. No, they are Muslim religion. They follow now Muslims. Previously, they were all it is said they were all Hindus, but now they are, for many years, they converted into Muslims. So in that village, on the east side of that village, is this temple and Sharada Peetham temple, which was built last year, and that particular land, the piece of land, was in the name of Hindus only. But there was temple before 1947, before independence. The temple and all the system was there. But after 47, you all know what happened, and that was demolished, and everything was, there is no remainings there. But last year, the people of that area and the community we call Kashmiri Pandit community, so they made a unit or committee called Save Sharda Committee. So this Save Sharda Committee, they found out the place, because they know that the place belongs to Hindus from their forefathers. So they found out all the records from the government, because last 2 years before, the system of governing there changed by the central government of India. So it affected in a good way. So they could get all the records of that place, and then they did effort to build a temple there. And our Shankara Peethas, especially Sringeri Peetha, took all the responsibility and all all the responsibility to build that temple, and Sringeri Peetha only made that temple, and all that the stones and everything was took from Bangalore all the way to Tirtha. So you can just imagine, build a temple with stone, black stone, and all those stones dressed and made, and by road they took all those there. Lakhs of rupees they spent just to build that temple. And then last year, in the same time, in this month only, they installed the murti there, the Vigraham. Now it's remains, and one pujari does puja, daily puja, and he's staying there. He's from Uttarakhand only, so he's staying there and doing the puja. So the program we attended was the annual program, the first Kumbhabhishekam, what we call, after establishing a temple, the first year of that temple is called Kumbhabhishekam. So we did all Kumbhabhishekam. All the Pandits, Brahmins, Vedapatis came from Sringeri Mutt, and by the guidance of Sringeri Sri Swamiji, they did all the Karmakanda there. All the Karmakanda perfectly, all the, whatever the samagris, whatever needed, everything they brought from Sringeri. So even wood for, firewood for Homa, they brought from Sringeri. So everything was brought from Sringeri, and very perfectly, it was a different experience. After a long time, they all saw how the Havan and Puja and all this happens. And then very special. What about the event is very special about the event is the Shastrartha. Shastrartha means the debate on different subjects of our scriptures. So this was happened maybe some 700 years before. The all discussion debate in Sanskrit. So 3 days we had continuous debate program for which the Kashmir was famous, world famous. Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya ji also was adored and respected as the Sarvajna Peetha. So he entered into this Shastra debates. It means in those days in Kashmir there were so many pandits of different subjects. If we see our scriptures, we can see there are so many names of Acharyas from Kashmir. This was the glory of Kashmir. So Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya ji went there to enter into this Shastra, engage into this Shastra. You can imagine, even in those days, how many pandits were there. But now, unfortunately, it's, everything, we lost everything there. But by the blessings of Sharda, by the blessings of our Guru Parambara, by the great blessings of Sringeri Sannidhanam Swamikal, we could do this Shastra debates or revive, we can say, these Shastra debates with this program, in this program. So we did all Vyakaranam and Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta, and Kavyas, and all those so many varieties. Everything is recorded. They will make separate videos of that. So this was the program there, and the accommodation and food was a problem because there is no space for accommodation. So we all stayed in military camps. So they have a cultural center there, the village people. So we stayed in a hall there, and all the pandits, maybe 35 scholars came from different parts of Bharat. So they all stayed there, and the food and everything was arranged from South Indian cooks, and they came, and all the material brought from South India, everything from Sringeri was arranged. So it was very, what you say, the lifetime experience. And we were 4 sadhus, only 4 swamis. And we were all protected by militaries because the opposite, they have this Pakistan military, and they, in the beginning, because we wanted to take holy bath in that river. So in the first day, they opposed it. The Pakistan military did not allow us to take bath because the half of the river is there and half of the river is ours. So if whatever we want to do, we have to take the permission of the Pakistan. And the laborers, they wanted to make a pathway to enter into the river and for the people to take bath. So they shooted from there 2 days before. So the people, laborers were working there. They shooted, and then there was a tension in between. But our military, they did not react, because if they react, then there is going to be a trouble. No, the war situation will come. So therefore, to protect our program and protect our people, they remained quiet, and then somehow they managed. After that, they informed them. Actually, before also they informed, because they know everything, whatever is happening. They know everything. But then they had a discussion, and then they allowed. So 10 people at a time, so they can go and take bath. So like that, we could go like 10 group of people. They went and we did the bath, and all this happened. So then the puja, as I have shared many photos, I think some of you have seen those photos. Beautifully decorated, and they brought all the flowers from south, from Bangalore, and every day it's amazing how they arrange this. And the people there who came, the pandits and who are came, the local pandits, Kashmiri pandits, because like 40 to 50 people were there, 50 families. So they said in their lifetime they are seeing it first time, like no flowers, many of the flowers they have not seen those flowers. So the color and the decoration, all this. Everybody was very happy, and especially when we think about those people, the Kashmiri Pandits, Hindus. So we can't really how they were suffering, and even today their fear and they have like they are. We cannot imagine how they are suffering from inside. They lost their family. They lost their village. They can't go back to their village. They can't go to their temples. So like they are like separated people. They have no support. Nobody understands their pain. Everybody is doing politics and all those. So they got so much energized by this puja and all this event. Because in lifetime now, as I said, it's happening after 700 years. Because one of their historian, who did a PhD on Kashmir, Pandit's history and the history of Kashmir, he was there. He was present there. So he studied, and then he said this event is happening after like maybe 1,000 years before, or 700 years. So it's such an experience. So they are all very happy, and now slowly things will change, because now when we started this, so slowly things will change. So on 25th we concluded the program with Kavya Patha. So people who came, the Pandits, they wrote poems, and that is what what in this debate of Shastra, or the scriptural debates. At the end of that, they do this poetry and offer this poetry to Sharda. That was the tradition. So that happened, and we all did some poetries, and I also wrote like 5 shlokas of Sharda. So I will send you later, and we'll make a video of that. So some Sanskrit shlokas in the price of Sharda Mata. So that way, this was a great event. Cannot describe how it happened. And the news went over all the country, like, no, this is a, even from UN, they got some message from UN, because this event is not a localized event. It's like it's happening in the LOC of Pakistan. It goes all over the world. So people, they all reacted from all over the world. Yeah, this is what this time I could say. Yeah, we will get more information, and I will share my other experiences, in next classes. Okay, so now we have crossed the time. I think we can stop here. Harihi Om. Om Purnamataha Purnamritam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi